This is the story of the key that could open more than just doors. Let's begin. In a small town, there lived an old locksmith. His age had caught up with him, but his hands were still steady and precise. There was no lock in the town that he could not open. He had a young apprentice who had been working with him since childhood. The apprentice saw him not just as a teacher, but almost like a father. One day, the old locksmith fell ill. He felt his time was running out, so he called his apprentice close. From his bag, he took out a strange old key and placed it in the young man's hand. In a soft voice, he said, "When you feel that you have lost everything, use this key." Years passed. The apprentice worked hard and took care of the shop. He became well known in the town for his skill. But life does not stay the same forever. One year, his business began to fall. New locksmiths opened their shops, and customers started going to them. Debts grew. His savings slowly disappeared. The troubles didn't stop there. People he thought were his friends began to keep their distance. His house felt empty, and his heart was filled with darkness and hopelessness. One lonely night, sitting in the corner of his shop, he suddenly remembered his old master's face and the old key he had given him years ago. He slowly opened a cupboard and took out a small box. Inside was the key. The cold metal in his hands gave him a strange feeling of hope. He looked at the key carefully. It didn't seem to belong to any door or any safe he had ever seen. Maybe it was for some special old lock. That night, he stayed in the shop, taking out old locks one by one, trying the key in each. Every time, the key either wouldn't turn at all, or it turned halfway and got stuck. Hours passed. Not a single lock opened. Tired and disappointed, he sat down on his chair. As he rolled the key between his fingers, he noticed some very fine lines on its surface. Looking closer, he saw that they were not lines at all. They were tiny letters, so small that one could miss them completely. He held his breath and began to read. The letter said, "The biggest lock is in your mind, and the key is your faith." He stared at those words for a long time. Suddenly, he understood. The old master had not given him a key for a real lock. He had given him the greatest lesson of life. The reason for his failure was not only the bad times outside, but the loss of belief inside him. That night, he made a promise to himself. He would rise again. From the very next day, he worked with fresh energy. He reached out to people, rebuilt relationships, and slowly his shop came back to life. Message: troubles outside cannot destroy us as much as the ones inside. When the lock in your mind opens, every other door begins to open on its own.